Well, Reds family, welcome back. Welcome back to Liverpool 12th Man Show. It is Liverpool 12th Man here, and I also have Lee with me too, the man, the myth, the legend that is only known as Lee. How are you doing today?
Excellent, mate. Excellent. A little bit sad now I've heard the news about Gravenberch having a knock, and I have my fingers and toes crossed that he's fit for Sunday. Yeah. But apart from that, I'm good.
Good. I hope that everyone out there in the chat is good. I hope that if you're watching this on the replay or if you tune in later and then maybe rewind the show and watch what you might have missed. I hope that you're doing well out there as well. As always, it's best to pass on as much positive vibes we can to each other, especially if you're a Red, you know the deal. But we're back in this dreaded international window. We just got out of one not too long ago, and now we are once again midway through this international break. When we, you know how it is. You spend 2 weeks playing, seeing your club's team members play for their national teams. You're sitting there. It's 2 weeks of praying that no one comes back with a knock or a limp, pulled hamstring. And wouldn't you know it, we've already got drama before a ball's even been kicked at Anfield again. Arne Slot's biggest challenge right now is getting prepped for Manchester United. And it's damage control, to say the least. Whether it was with our losses and getting our team confidence back and getting our swagger back on the pitch, now we have to deal with also getting just fit, which is all well and good. Shout out to John Conway, by the way, too. Big up. So we got Konaté's come back from France early with a thigh issue. We've got Gravenberch, who got Gravy got subbed off for the Netherlands with a hamstring scare, quote unquote. My guy, your guy, hopefully your guy, our Japanese samurai, Endo missed Japanese national duty, and our stalwart, our savior in the between the sticks, Ali, is still sidelined. And now we're looking at Sunday, wondering, okay, who's going to come back fit? Who we're going to get on this, who are we going to have lining up for us, or at least on that team sheet. So I'm being honest, as always, my Reds. This is where we find out what Arne Slot is really made of when it comes to putting together a team selection that is going to be something to be proud of, because it is a derby that that we're coming back to. So we're going to see if he can really juggle these injuries. We're going to see if he can keep morale high and still put out a side that smacks United. Yes, that's what I said. Smack down, like WWE style, smack down United around like they deserve. So tonight we're going to dive deep into it. Shout out to Red Armchair Supporter, and shout out to Andy. Good to see you, Andy. Good to see you. Hope that you're doing well. Shout out to Hylor. Big up to you. Got some Michael Olise news, Andy, in one of my segments coming up. So you might want to stick around to hear what I have to say about that. A little update on that. And I actually do. I think I included it in this one. I even have some Mark Gahey news to be included as well. So definitely stick around for that too. But tonight will be, like I said, we'll be diving deep. We're going to go into injuries, transfer whispers, to Upamecano chase, which is kind of wild. I don't know. It feels like we're in a time machine or something. But yes, Upamecano is certainly a player that we're apparently interested in. Real Madrid's sudden doubts over a certain player. And yes, like I said, Michael Olise, the player many see as Mo Salah's heir apparent. But first, I want to know from the chat right now, big up, how you're doing and everything. It looks like everyone's doing well, and I hope that you are. Quick question, Lee, before we even get into this news roundup here. international breaks. How do you feel about them? Do you think that like I think it's next year, because I think that's what I reported on before. I think it's next year we're going to see a change to this international break stuff. But it's going to be even, I don't know if it's going to be worse or better. I don't know depending on how you look at it. Because next year, apparently, what they're going to do is they're going to do a month-long break or something like that, where you'll get all like the international teams will have like 4 weeks together or something along those lines, and then but it's like a month-long break from the season, which is even worse, I think personally. Like I said, I'd rather them just do all the damage or do all the finding out what's going to happen in the summertime or in between seasons or something like that. It is what it is. But shout out to Rasta Crab in the house. The streets have arrived, people. Be honored, be humbled. The streets have arrived. Big up, big up. But how are you feeling about it? And you can tell me in the chat how you feel about it. I know some people aren't national team fans. Some aren't really into the international game. But what are your thoughts, Lee? How do you feel about it? Are they just unnecessary risk for the club, or is it like, does it still make sense to have them in a packed club season? How do you feel?
For me, there should just be like maybe 1 week for internationals where there's 2 international games. You can play a Wednesday and a Saturday, or a Wednesday and a Sunday. So we only lose, 1 weekend of the league calendar. But the way they're going for 2 weeks now, and we've had it in September, October, we're going to have it in November for 2 weeks. It's too much. That's 6 weeks already gone out the season. I know it's changing for next season, isn't it? The first international, it's going to be a longer break, but there's only one of them apparently. So we'll have to see how that goes. But I'm not a fan of it the way it is. It never used to be like this years ago, where you had like 2 weeks gone out the season every month at the beginning of the season. This is like a newer thing, and I don't like it. It's too much, for teams to try and get into a rhythm. I mean, look, you can say that like it's come at a good time for us right now, the international break, but you need to get into a rhythm at the start of the season, and it doesn't help when every few weeks you've got to disappear for a fortnight and then come back. I'm not a fan of it now. Not in its current form anyway. The way the international breaks are happening, it's too many all in a short space of time right at the beginning of the season, and I think it has a knock-on effect on the product on the pitch. Then fans aren't getting as much for their dollar. So yeah, I'm glad. I hope they try and sort it, and this new thing next season is a little bit easier to stomach, because the way it is now, I find it hard to stomach the way, I mean, they're coming back, aren't they, this weekend? But then the beginning of November, well, not beginning, halfway through November,
jump right into a garbage
fortnight. Yeah, it's too much. That's 3 times already. Then right at the beginning of the season, same last season. I do not like it. Too many international games.
Yeah, I think my personal take. I don't know if people have heard this take or not, but like my personal take is, I would say these. How you do the Nations League, those competitions that we do now, in for a lot of which took over a lot of the friendlies that we were seeing, because before the Nations League we were just seeing glorified friendlies, which is even worse in essence, because those are just glorified exhibitions. But maybe do something on the lines of make the Nation League a version, or not only a mini tournament in itself, but similar to if you won Europa, you get into the Champions League. If you win if you get into a certain round of the Nations League, you get into the World Cup. Make it something like that, which will be like even more, make more emphasis maybe on those Nations League games. Will also take away the the hassle and all the like persistence of having to do the qualifiers that you have to get through. Make it where the qualifiers are somehow connected to those Nation League games. That's just a suggestion. I don't know. Of course, I'll have to do a lot more tinkering with my idea. Maybe I'm sure someone in the comment section or maybe someone in the chat probably will pick apart my suggestion. But you never know. You never know. Roster Crab thinks it's too long of a break. Doesn't make sense to him. Heiler says the international break for him is just a high-risk department. He at last count. Oh, he has lost count, of how many times he's seen players come back from those with injuries. Trust. I agree with that completely. And that's just the thing. Players come back more broken than refreshed sometimes, just as you mentioned, Lee, and it's one of those things where I'm sure as a club, you're the one paying these players as opposed to the national team, which they technically can, and they can pay their players, by the way, depending on like performances and the likes. But yeah, more so it's an honor to play for those teams as it is a job to play for those teams. So Rasta Crab says, if he can't get a month off from his job, they can't either. Oh, wow. Okay. All right. All right. I got you. The streets have spoken, and they are not happy about international breaks. Well, let's talk about what's going on in the LFC news then real quick. Let's just get straight into it. The roundup is this, starting with the dreaded word injuries, which is what we were just talking about. We have Konaté out with a thigh problem. He returned from France early, like I spoke on. Gravenberch, who was subbed off at halftime for Holland, had a hamstring precaution. That's not good. It's not good at all. Whenever you hear hamstrings, because hamstrings can be touch and go. You can't really train on a hamstring. You just have to give it rest. Alisson still recovering from the same issue that ruled him out last match, obviously. And Endo missed Japan's friendlies altogether. Now, that's just the 4 names most likely that you would have been concentrating on. But those are 4 important players, one way or another. I know there's some people out there that like to talk trash on Endo. I got you. Not me, obviously. I'm one of his definite supporters here. But yeah, Konaté, Gravenberch, Ali, 3 very, very important players on our team. And excuse me. And look, if it's not just the bodies missing, it's the chemistry. This team needs to build chemistry. Crab was just talking about it earlier, Lee. He was just talking about how he wants to see Slot fix what it is. It's going to be a very difficult fix per se if you don't have a team that's there and available to really get the chemistry that we need to build on. Liverpool teams thrive on rhythm. Right now, we look like we have 2 left feet sometimes. And when players keep dropping in and out, and Arne's also rotating and putting players in this position and that position, out of position, it's difficult to build continuity. So now that Gravenberch is someone that might miss some time, or I don't know if it means that he's not going to start, but it means that you might not look to get 90 minutes out of him. And Endo's still out. Who starts the 6? Everybody was all worried about the 6th. Heck, some people were saying that we don't even have a 6 even with Gravenberch. Okay. So then what does Slot do? What does he do? Is he going to do what? Yeah, I know. Roster Craft says Slot doing a madness. Watch Slot put Joey G in the midfield. We've seen that. Hey, I can't really hate on Slot if he does that, considering I saw Klopp do that before. But But again, it's like, do we finally see maybe a name out there that has been somewhat lost in the mix? Do we maybe see Stefan Bajcetic get some type of recognition? Do we see Trey Neone? There's a shout right there. Maybe Trey Neone. Not necessarily, I'm not saying starts, but I am saying certainly gets a call up and gets maybe some playing time, or look to be somewhat of a reserve so that maybe Gravenberch doesn't get some playing time. The report, High Lord, that I've seen is that Gravenberch, I've seen 3 reports. All of them said that Gravenberch's injury was a precautionary situation, whereas sometimes you feel a little twitch or a little twitch in your leg, and Liverpool players have been told, if you feel something that's not right, don't try to keep playing through it. Just go down. It's not worth it. Haller saying, Coleman said in the press conference yesterday after Gravenberch was subbed off at halftime that he felt something in his hamstring. Exactly. What do you think? If both Endo and Gravenberch are unavailable, do you start Mac Allister, who is going to be getting a start against for Argentina? Or do you roll the dice and maybe bring back again a Trey Neone or a Bajcetic, or it kind of makes you say something that I don't know if I said this online, but I definitely have said it backstage, and it kind of makes you think, maybe Tyler Morton would be nice right here or something like that. Curtis Jones is definitely, I think, going to get Curtis Jones a more likely shot. That's a good one, Anthony, by the way. What are your feelings, Lee?
Well, we're in a really hard place if Gravenberch can't play at the weekend. Right. What's the news on Endo? Like, is Endo injured or something? Is he?
Yeah, he didn't. He dropped. He's injured enough that he didn't play any of the Japan games.
Christ. I don't know. Maybe it will think about bringing.
It just keeps getting better, right? Yeah. It just keeps getting better.
Keeps getting better. Yeah. Maybe it will.
I wish I had that clip. You ever see the clip? Sorry, I was gonna say. You ever see the clip of Jurgen Klopp? My life is getting better and better. That one. Or my life just keeps getting better and better.
Yeah, the good news.
I know don't make fun of me, Hyler. I know my German accent is horrible. I know, or my Klopp impression is horrible.
No, we are going to be stuck. I mean, Gomez has played the 6, hasn't he, under Klopp in FA Cup games? Yeah. In Klopp's last season, when Joe's pretty much ever present, he had a couple of goes there, but we're down to the bare bones. So I would assume it'd probably be Neone would come in, because Bajcetic hasn't played for a while. But the thing with Bajcetic is he has played like quite a fair number of Premier League games. I know it was in the past, but he was playing the league of football, wasn't he? Like up until a few months ago, he pretty much completed the season and then got injured, didn't he, Bajcetic? So he has got some football behind him if we have to bring him back in. Jones, I don't like it when they put Jones like anywhere near the 6th position. I mean, if Mac Allister's fit, and God forbid that Gravenberch is injured, then I think he.
Well, I mean, would you feel comfortable with a? Tell me in the chat too. Would you feel comfortable with a Jones and Macca pivot? Because I think Wirtz is going to get the start. By the way, we're gonna do a. Obviously, we're gonna wait a little bit to get closer to the game before we do a preview. That way we'll have a real concise idea as to who's fit and who's not fit. But I do think that Wirtz will get a return appearance to the starting lineup. And I think that with that pivot, where if Gravenberch's not fully fit, if Endo's not fully fit, I don't even think Endo will get a start, even regardless. But even if Endo isn't fully fit, you could see, or it could be, or it could be Curtis and Dom, and Macca gets the short end of the stick. Who do you think's going to get? What do you think? What would be your midfield? Just a quick stab at it. You can reverse it or revise it once we get to our preview. But what would you do?
If Gravenberch and Endo, if neither of them can play, then it'd have to be Mac Allister in the 6 with Jones in the 8, and then either Wirtz or Szoboszlai in the 10, wouldn't it?
Mm-hmm.
Did Wirtz get a goal for Germany, or
he got an assist? I know that.
Got an assist. Well, that's good enough. That's something for him.
Let me see. Tell you what else he got then. Because is that game concluded now or no? Because that game was supposed to go today.
Not sure.
Yeah, 1-0 they won. And Newcastle's finest, Mr. Walter Made, scored their goal for them. Yeah.
I'll give the Geordie
player of the match. Player of the match is a player that we've got our eye on. A player we've got our eye on, Mr. Schlotterbach. Nico Schlotterbach. Hyler is saying, so if Endo and Gravenberch has light injuries, they will be treated as such and at best start on the bench. Mac Allister is far from 100% either. And I absolutely agree with that. I know that's what I'm saying. Because I'll tell you what, it's going to be a tactical game either way. Mac Allister gives you control, but lacks obviously the natural bite defensively because of his certainly because of his fitness and form. You could say Bajcetic is a player that gives you energy, but you risk a little bit of inexperience at the role. Dom obviously is a player that a lot of people have put as undroppable currently. So if that's the case, then you start Wirtz, Dom, and Macca, Curtis. I don't think if you're going to go start Dom, you're definitely going to start Wirtz. I think that third player is going to be either obviously Macca or it's going to be Curtis Jones. And I think it probably should be Curtis Jones because Curtis Jones has certainly played well enough to deserve a start. But then it becomes like, who do you trust to hold down that primary concept of the DM of being that anchor? It's going to be interesting. Well, elsewhere, a few international highlights for the Reds. Agent Cody is cooking right now. Shout out to Agent Cody and shout out to all of his haters. 3 goals this break. VVD even scored, by the way. Shout out to our captain as well. Big shout out to my guy. I think he's Lee's guy too. I don't think Lee's been throwing that much, or if any, slander towards our vice captain. But shout out to Robbo, who grabbed an assist for Scotland this past week. Though by his own admission, he said his performance is nowhere near good enough for his standards. I'd like to hear that kind of assertion of knowing that there's still room to build. You get numbers, great, but still there's still room to build for him to get back to the level. And I actually respect that for Robbo. That's leadership, in my opinion. You don't sugarcoat it, call it out, and demand better. And Salah, Mohamed Salah, our Egyptian king. Well, he's chilling, if you want to put it that way, because Egypt's already qualified for the World Cup. However, Mo was rested and celebrating with his lads in Cairo. I think the man definitely deserves a little bit of thanks and praises that he's been able to, that his team has done well. He's helped his team get to a level where he doesn't have to be exposed in some unnecessary circumstance. We don't want to see that at all. But this is what I was talking about for those that were interested in the Gahey. I know Andy said something about Gahey. And who else did you want to know about too? There was someone else. Oh, and Michael Olise. I do have some Michael Olise news a little bit later. But let's just focus on defense because that seems to be one of our main issues. Scoring isn't necessarily one of them, but defending is lately because it's getting spicy again when it comes to who we might be bringing in for our club. Liverpool are reportedly ready to move quickly for a certain defender that plays for Bayern Munich, and that is Upamecano. This isn't one of those loose rumors. I saw this as a direct link from Fabrizio Romano, Dean Jones, and also Sky Germany's Plettenberg. All basically said this, by the way. I know Plettenberg does definitely, he does get a lot of things right when he tries to make these references out there in Germany. They're all saying the same thing, though. Liverpool have entered the chat, maybe more so a serious discussion for Upamecano. It makes sense. Gahey's move has collapsed on deadline day. We all know that. Leone's out for the season. Konaté's dealing with injuries again. So what do? You line up pushing it. That might be pushing it. Because let's be honest, the idea of Van Dijk mentoring Upamecano for a season or two could be a good thing, maybe. Maybe it's a good thing for for the duo of Konaté to be back with his old running mate. Maybe there's some football symmetry there, some football romanticism that could be at the case. I'll ask you this, Lee. If Liverpool land Upamecano, would you move on from Ibu? Or would you try to build the French connection, is what I would coin them as, for our defense?
Well,
pairing the two. Nice.
Sounds nice with them. There used to be a partnership and they have played together since Leipzig for the national team, but I'm not really a fan of us buying Upamecano. I think we should look elsewhere for maybe an up-and-coming defender. I like the idea of Slot back, actually. I think he could potentially be a good signing. It's hard to know, isn't it, where we're gonna look. I mean, I assume that we're gonna buy somebody in January. If we don't, then there's something drastically wrong.
Mm-hmm.
You would assume that's a decision that's probably already been made. Yes, we will buy a centre back in January, given what's happened to Leone, and now we're having other slight problems. He is a good player. I do like him, Upamecano. I mean, of course he's a good player. He plays for France, plays for Bayern Munich, but probably out of the list of names that I've seen, he'd be about, I don't know, third or something, fourth. There's a few others I'd take first, I think.
Oh, absolutely. I'd say break the bank and go get Bastoni, but I'm still stuck on dreams, Dreams can come true every once in a while, but
yeah, the thing about Upamecano is it wouldn't be until next summer anyway. He's not going to Bayern aren't going to sell him like in January, are they, in the middle of the season? Because they've still got.
Well, that's what we're trying to do. That's what they're pushing for.
Oh, is it? Yeah, I thought they were talking about next summer.
No, they're talking about January.
Well, that would be strange. I mean, it's looking more and more likely now that Konaté is going to leave on a free transfer. The longer it goes on, the less likely he is that he signs. So it would be really strange, and sort of a bit of synchronicity, if he was replaced by his old Leipzig partner. at centre back in the Liverpool squad.
Originally, that's what we were going to go for, or at least, hey, I'll admit it. Originally, he was the more in fashion and more sought after. He was the more sought after center back between the two.
Yeah, he was. If Ibu was, if it was the other way around, Bayern Munich would have bought Ibu. You know what I mean? But he didn't. He bought Upamecano. So that's he's got that in his favour. I don't know. I just think we'd be better off with some of the other options. But it would be interesting if he came in as Konaté's replacement. It'd be really strange. It'd be a bit of a mindfuck for Ibu, wouldn't it, as well? Like, because we're like, he's not been playing great. He hasn't signed his contract. His contract ends in a matter of months. It'd be a bit of a mindfuck for him to see his old mate Dayot come in and take his place, wouldn't it?
Mm-hmm.
Hey, maybe that'll be a good thing.
Oh, Hylor is done with Konaté. All right. He's done. The defenders, these aren't all center halves. These are just, I'm just going to go through the defenders because some of these are they're fullbacks. But the defenders are Davies, Kim, Upamecano, Bowie, the French player. Stanzik is out. The Croatian that they have in defense is out. Jonathan Tah, a name that was a very interesting name to see. But he's like 20. I didn't realize he's 29 years old. I thought he was younger. But Jonathan Tah, Guerrero, Lamer, and Ito are all their defenders. Not all of them are center halves, obviously. Yeah, I mean, it'll be very interesting to see them let go of the player quickly. I mean, I wouldn't mind it if we just I know that you like the Newcastle player, for instance. I know you're talking about that, but I don't think Newcastle is going to be looking to do us any favors when it comes to giving us any of their younger talent. Shout out to Redbird. Long time no see, Mr. Redbird. Great to see you, though, as always. Let's just jump quickly into this then, because I know that there were some people that were asking about Guéhi. I know that some people have mentioned about Guéhi and the likes. Apparently, some of the veil has been lifted as to why that deal fell apart, because apparently I think the Crystal Palace president came out and discussed as to why it actually happened, or the chairman, I should say, their chairman, Steve Parish. So we finally got the clarity, and this is what it came down to, basically, people. Palace chairman Steve Parish confirmed that the deal was basically done. The medical was complete, but Palace pulled the plug because of their Conference League qualification. I don't understand how that makes any difference, to be honest with you. Is it if they were in Europa, they would have figured that they probably don't have that great of a chance of winning Europa, so that's why you'll allow the player to go. But since you're in the Conference League, you look at it as a viable opportunity to win in Europe, so that's why you keep the player. That's the only logic I could put behind that kind of a statement, because realistically, you're in Europe either way. One way or another, you're going to be in Europe. If it meant you're either going to be in Conference League or Europa, one of the two. So Paris basically said, plain as day, keeping Guéhi meant a better season financially and competitively. And I think you've got a feel for Guéhi, who wanted to move, who already obviously approved the move. Would have been a part of a club that he would have had a bright future with. And now all of a sudden, he's placed in a situation where he's got to ride out his contract, which isn't always easy because, if you pick up a knock on a last year deal, it's not good. It's not good to get a late injury right before you got to re-sign a deal or try to go and do the free agent thing. It's not good. Not good at all. So what do you think about what I just said, Lee? You think that Paris is just is being honest, or do you think does it even make sense what he's saying?
I would imagine that they want to win the Conference League because for a club like Palace, that's a big prize. It would be for a lot of small clubs. They even have players in Europe before they wanted to be in the Europa League. We know that, then the financial thing happens. But yeah, I just can't see him moving in January, Gakey. I think unless Glasner leaves, that would be the way I could see it happening. If Glasner leaves before January, so. I think they'll want to keep him for the whole season because they've started the season well. They're in Europe for the first time ever, etc., etc. So I don't think it's going to happen in January, the Gahey move. But it'll also be quite satisfying to get him for nothing if we do end up getting him for nothing after all these shenanigans of the window just gone. And all the hand wringing and teeth gnashing we've done, there will be something satisfying about getting the player in the summer.
You really think that we have a chance of getting? You think that Gahey still is going to be a summer target of ours? Because you got to realistically think. If we go for Upamecano, or we bring in a player like Upamecano, I know that he might not necessarily be the cat's meow for some people, but if you bring in Upamecano, and you have a Leone that should be eventually, ready to dust off the cobwebs and get back to getting involved and being a player. I don't think that we will renew with Joey G. I think that we will move on from Joey G, possibly in the summertime, if not in January. Not something I'm pushing for, but something that I think will happen. You really think we're going to go for? You really think Gahey is a viable option?
Yeah, I would assume so because Virgil's in the last 2 years of his contracts now. Joe's had lots of injury problems. Ibu's had lots of injury problems. Last season, notwithstanding, that was his first season where he was fit for the majority of it. And Leone's out for a year, so I would assume that Gahey will still be a target if we buy someone in January. I don't think that would mean that we weren't getting them just because we bought somebody else in January. That's just because we need somebody in January and he's not available in January or probably won't be, more likely than not. As I say, the best chance we've got is for Glasner to leave or something like that. But even then, we'd probably still want to fulfill his contract and help the new manager. So I just can't see it happening in January, that one. But I think we will definitely go back for him in the summer. It all depends whether he still wants us. He did last summer, and if he hasn't been distracted by these links to big clubs in other leagues, then hopefully he'll still want to come to us next summer, and he's just biding his time. Finishing his contract, doing his bit for Palace, just biding his time, and hopefully in the summer we'll make it right. What didn't happen last summer, and hopefully we'll have another guy as well to add to the. I wanted us to have 5 anyway, even before injuries or that. I think 5's a good number to have. I know, like I've said often enough, Man City have got 7 centre halves to choose from. I think Arsenal have got about 7 now, haven't they, with the addition of Mosquera and Hincapie? So we're lagging behind on 4, aren't we? We're really understaffed in the centre-back department. So I can't see how we don't buy him if as long as his head hasn't been turned and he then wants to go to somewhere else. Which I'm not sure. I could see it happening. Yeah, who wouldn't want to play for Real Madrid? But I'm not sure how viable a link that really is that they want him. And they're linked with everyone always, aren't they? Whenever a name comes up, they're linked with them.
Right.
So we'll wait and see on that one.
Yeah. What Heiler is saying is good points too. What Redbird said as well was good, and that you never know. I mean, with Real Madrid apparently looking very interested, especially since it would be a free transfer. Now, all of a sudden, Real Madrid start coming knocking. Maybe that interests him to go to Spain and try out that. Big up, big up, big up. Thank you, Redbird. I appreciate that. Appreciate that. Much love, much love. Hope you're feeling good. I hope that you're doing well as well. I am definitely. Lee and I were talking about it yesterday backstage. It's a journey. It's been a journey. I still have about 2 months worth of rehabilitation to go through and everything. But yeah, it's been a journey. But it's been somewhat of an easier journey by kind words like that. I really appreciate that. Thank you. Konaté, in Hyler's opinion, 2,000 a week. Yeah, that's tough, man. You know, with the way he's playing, you might be asking for money back from Konaté, the way he's been playing. I don't know. 200,000 a week is certainly, he wants. I think from what I heard, he wants more than 200,000 a week. By the way, he wants more than 200,000 a week. Picture that. Well, I know I told Andy that I would talk about this player as well. Or no, I said Michael Olise. I got Michael Olise coming up, so just wait one moment. I have that not in this segment, but the next segment. I believe it's in the next segment. This segment, I want to talk about the Irishman, Anfield Irishman's favorite player, and some of your favorite player out there as well. A player that I am going to do a player feature on eventually, and that is Mr. Adam Wharton. This next segment is on Real Madrid have cooled their jets on Mac Allister, and they and also there has been an announcement that there might be an actual release clause involved in an Adam Wharton deal. So again, all right, let's do a quick detour to Spain because apparently Real Madrid have a surprise change of heart about Alexis Mac Allister. Certainly his form hasn't helped their interest, I'm certain. But now a few months ago, he was one of their top midfield targets. But according to Defensa Central, Madrid have cooled their interest after what they called an underwhelming start to the season. And honestly, hey, if you can look at any silver lining to Mac Allister not playing well, how about that? I'll take that. How about that? I like to look at it as like, always look for some type of silver lining. A little bit. What's the Monty Python song? Always look on the bright side of life type situation, right?
Yeah.
No, I'm not. I'm not going to sing it. I'm not going to sing it. Don't worry. Maybe you'll get Lee to sing it a little later on, but not right now. So, if you're lucky. But we've had enough of the Madrid sniffing around our players, I think. Mac Allister's been adapting to Slot's system. I think he's looked at as being, in my opinion, I think he's one of the key parts to our system working. A lot of people have said what they want to say about him. I understand he's had a bad start. I'm not disputing that at all, but or a labored start, if you want to call it that, this season. But I would honestly go as far as to say that Mac Allister was possibly one of, if not the best midfielder on our team last year. So he's a World Cup winner. He's a Copa America winner. People calling him washed up or flop or whatever you want to call that crap, I think it's ridiculous. I think he'll come good. Do you think Mac Allister's role under Slot has hurt his rhythm? Or is he just going through early season fatigue, trying to get back to his regular self like some of the squad is doing right now. What do you think, Lee? Do you think that Mac Allister's role under Slot has hurt him with his rhythm, like having to do all of the necessary things that he's required to do? Last year he was required a lot. He was allowed a lot of that freedom that has been given to Gravenberch was given to Mac Allister last year. Mac Allister got involved in a couple of goals for us going forward. That's because he had the freedom to go for
it. Yeah, he's been off it, and I think it's a mixture of him not being fit or not being properly fit, and that sort of sapping his confidence as well a bit mentally. He has looked a bit off it, but I mean, I don't want to give him too much stick for the Chelsea game because we were abject all over the pitch. We just need him to try. We just got to keep playing him until he gets back to proper fitness and form. He's a good player. He's one of our important players, and we have really missed him at the beginning of this season to not have him there with Gravenberch. Yeah, I think it is. You can clearly see something's not right, and it can't just be a mental thing. It's not like he's just suddenly, become a disinterested, half-hearted player. He clearly isn't properly fit. He didn't have the pre-season. Slot said that a few times, about how important pre-season is for players. Mac Allister didn't have one, and we've been slowly trying to get him up to fitness since the season started. And we do need him back. I just hope that Gravenberch is fit for the United game because I don't like Mac playing the 6. He can tackle and he can harry people and that, but it's not a position I like seeing him in.
I'm just saying, Lee, when you add 6 midfielders into the mix, because I think we have probably about 5 to 6 midfielders that could, in one way or another, contribute, start, play significant minutes in this team. You got Gravenberch, you got Mac Allister, you got Wirtz, you got Gravenberch, Mac Allister, Wirtz, Dom, Curtis. And then again, like I said, and Endo as well, because he does get minutes. It's a case where I still see him as one of being Macca. I still see him as one of our smartest players. I think he has one of the best football IQs on our team. He just needs consistently rhythm. He needs to get into that when I mean rhythm, I mean not only just on the pitch with form, but also the rhythm of knowing you're going to play every 3-4 days, or something like that, where your body's capable of handling it. I know that I said Wharton, and I said meanwhile you can put on something of looking at. Well, then I don't think if we didn't get Gahey, I don't think Palace is going to make any move for us to bring in Wharton during January. However, apparently Palace are working out a new contract for Adam Wharton. And that contract is reportedly going to have a release clause around £75 million. The midfield merry-go-round isn't stopping anytime soon, apparently. $75 million. Lee, are you pulling the trigger on that deal? For $75 million, are you pulling the trigger on bringing in Adam Wharton?
Yeah, if that's what it takes. Yeah. I think he'd be a good signing, yeah.
It's not too high.
I prefer it for less if we could get it. It was quoted as 60, wasn't it?
Hey, I prefer it for free. But yeah,
if we have to pay a little bit more, it's still pay it. He's a good player. And we do need extra players. We haven't got enough bodies in midfield for the pivot. So we've got Szoboszlai and Wirtz for the 10, but the bodies we've got for it's just Gravenberch, Mac Allister, Jones, and Endo. It's not enough, is it? or
Mm-hmm.
it could be enough numbers wise, but just not the right players. And Slot doesn't want to use, he doesn't seem to want to use Endo from the start of games. Not sure what Curtis's best position is there. It's probably the 8th for him these days, is where he's going to be most useful. But it's not just centre back, is it, where we need signings as much as we've done to the squad. We've had major surgeries to the squad this summer, but it still needs further adjustments, doesn't it, to make it, just to cover us so we don't end up in the position we're in now, where we're struggling to put a team out. Because if Gravenberch and Konaté can't play, that gives us massive problems, doesn't it? For the United game. But it would be sweeter to beat them as well, though, without those players, if it did come down to that. We'll see anyway. Hopefully Gravenberch will be fit.
Hopefully. I was going to. I'm going to bring up this. All right, I'm bringing it up right now. Before we get into this next segment, I'm going to bring this up because next segment I'm going to talk about Olise. But Hylor said Gomez drew offers from both Brighton and Crystal Palace at the end of the summer transfer window, but his most likely move appeared to be AC Milan. So should we sell him? Slot doesn't trust him. I don't know if Slot doesn't trust him. He has played in games. He has been called on. I know that the last game we could have called Chelsea, we could have and should have called on him. Personally, I think at least that's what I would have I thought. But we didn't. We didn't. I know that we spoke about this yesterday. We did speak about this yesterday, and I know that something that you thought is you'd be willing to go as far. I think 13 million was the offer that AC Milan offered us, is 13 million for Gomez. We didn't bite at that deal. You said you'd go as far as to sell him for 15 million, I think you said. Are you still sticking to that, Lee? 15 million?
Yeah, I think that's reasonable. 15 to 20. If he wants to go, in the summer, wants to move on, and we've moved on then as well in the summer and brought in, new players in the centre-back department. It depends. If he comes into the team, proves his fitness and plays his heart out for the rest of the season, then he might not be leaving at all. But it's all dependent upon that, isn't it, this season with Joe, just how many games we're going to get out of him. But I'm ready to drop Ibu right now and bring Gomez in as Virgil's partner.
Well done.
On the right-hand side there, yeah, he played the left-hand side when he played with Leone. Yeah, he didn't look great, but it was his first game. I'm hoping that, if he could have, a season of pretty much constant fitness, then we could get some good performances out of him alongside Virgil, because it's a partnership that's tried and tested. It has been a while since they've been playing together regularly, but they've done it hundreds of times before to good effect. So I've just got my fingers crossed that Joe can be fit and play a good part. Because if he goes down with injury, then we're screwed, aren't we? That's me worry about bringing Joe in, is how many games can we risk playing him for in a row before he might get injured, and then we'd have Endo, wouldn't we? And I mean, with the greatest will in the world, Endo can play the position, but he's tiny, and he's going to be targeted in the air and that. And, I mean, funnily enough, I think he's good in the air for his size, Endo, but you don't want him playing centre-back in Premier League games for a run of games, do you? People talk about Joe being a bit small, and he's 6 foot, isn't he? But, yeah. It's going to be tough.
I think Andy's asking for an update on Frimpong. I don't know of anything wrong with Frimpong. He should be good to go if that's what you're asking about. I didn't see anything any bad news about Frimpong. The news I was going to bring up, Lee, and the chat is this. This is something that could affect Liverpool for the next decade, and that is the Salah succession plan. According to multiple reports, Liverpool are planning a generational change at right wing. And the man at the top of the list is Bayern Munich's Michael Olise. If you've watched this guy play, as of late, he is definitely dynamite. 25 goals, 29 assists, and 65 games for Bayern so far. That's elite production for a player that's only 23 years old. Real Madrid reportedly want him too. But Notices in Spain says their chances are practically nil because Liverpool are eager to make this happen. It is so heartwarming to hear news that says Real Madrid think they have no chance of getting a player because the player is more likely to go to Liverpool. I love hearing that, considering it's normally, or it's quite often, it's the other way around. So, but this is big, guys. This is the first serious post-Salah plan since we've signed our Egyptian king. And yes, I love Mo, obviously, but he is 33, going on 34. And if we want to stay dominant, we can't just react. We have to evolve. If Salah's form doesn't pick up, would you try to accelerate the Olise move? Or do you back Mo to rediscover his spark before 2026?
Well,
ask the hard questions. You got to get the hard answers.
About accelerating the deal. Well, people are thinking about. He's got 2 years left. He's got this season and then one more left, Mo, and that's when, we've definitely got to replace him. But it's whether we're going to bring Olise in while he's still here, or would we sell him then next summer maybe and bring Olise in? I don't know about speeding the deal up, how much we could speed it up. Obviously, it wouldn't be like January, would it? Like, they certainly wouldn't sell him in January.
I think it's because it would mean that we could speed up the deal by making the deal more lucrative. Or maybe we involve a player or something like that, Maybe,
yeah.
I don't know.
Could be. They were interested in Gakpo, weren't they, Bayern?
Yeah.
That was
exactly.
a genuine
Maybe you say, okay, you know what? Here's Cody. We're willing to part ways with Cody, and we'll even sweeten the deal by throwing 40 million, 50 million into the pot. So 50 million in Cody Gakpo, that's a fantastic deal.
Yeah, and that'll also depend on how Rio does this season. Coming in on the left, like in Cody's place. Or also what happens, with other players maybe playing that position. So, that could be a thing, couldn't it? In the future. He is, probably the leading candidate, isn't he, as a replacement for Salah, I would say. Michael Olise. I can't see many better candidates. There are others, and there might be some that we haven't even thought of yet. But he seems to be the most obvious candidate, doesn't he, as a replacement for Mo on that right-hand side? Suppose a lot of it depends on Bayern too, what sort of season they have, Do they do well in the Champions League? It's going to, play a big part in it as well,
Yeah. I've been told that olive oil cures almost everything. So who knows? Maybe if it's Olise or olive oil, who knows? Who knows? We could use a little curing right now. for the system that is what we have. It's tough. I mean, it's I know we're walking a fine line here. I wouldn't mind bringing Olise in. You never want to disrespect a legend, obviously. Football doesn't wait though for nostalgia. It only gets crueler, if anything, when you do. But Bayern aren't panicking. I'm not saying that Bayern are in some sell now mode or whatever. You know, they want to extend Olise's deal and raise his wages, by the way. It just is about whether Olise wants to come back to England. That's the big question mark. Come back to England. You're doing exceptionally well in Germany, but come back to England to solidify your legacy and be a part of an incredible club like Liverpool. Because you know, Bayern Munich is an extremely important and global team in itself. But let's be honest, like it would be a case where we would be building an actual project around Olise as well, because he would be the next evolution behind Salah. Oh, big up. We have Lady B. We have the Lady B in the house. Big up, Lady B. Good to see you. Good to see you. She's saying hello to you too, Lee.
Hi, Bernie.
But yeah. One thing before we get into the this isn't the final segment. I have one more segment after this, but I was going to say let's talk about our new number 9, Mr. Alexander Isak. I think that this game coming up could be not only a springboard for him, but certainly would be most likely the biggest game he's had to play since the League Cup final. I know that's bold to say, but I do honestly think that it is. And why I say that is he's set to start his 3rd game in 10 days for Sweden. That's a benchmark. Arne Slot said would be important. This basically, Arne Slot said this quote. He said, "We're building him up for full Liverpool fitness." So this isn't a gamble. This isn't part of like some, oh, well, let's just roll the dice and see. This is part of a plan. By the time he's back at AXA, Isak's preseason will officially be complete, and Manchester United will be his season opener for the Premier League. In theory, before someone clips me up and says, "What are you talking about? He's already played." Because when Isak's sharp, he's special. His off-the-ball movement, his composure, the way he opens space for others. I don't want to go too far, but maybe someone might say, maybe he's got a little bit of that Van Persie elegance mixed with my favorite player, one of my favorite players at least, Torres intensity. When Isak's fully fit, which is apparently where he's at, what the stage he's at now, we could see what we've been all waiting for. I'm going to ask you, I don't know if you saw the lineup that I put together. I don't think you did. I put together a lineup. That was a unique lineup. It had us go away. It had us go back to, I know we've spoken about my obsession with the 4-4-2. I know I'm getting to be an old head, if not an old head already to some. Okay. And I do remember that era of Liverpool where we played with a 4-4-2, and sometimes during those errors, we might not have been the best team, but we certainly were an exciting team. You could say whether it was with Sturridge and Suarez, whether it's with Owen and like Heskey, or there's been some unique duos that have played in the front two, if and when we do play with a 4-4-2. When Isak's fully fit, Lee, do you start pairing him with Ekitike, or do you keep him as the lone striker for Slot? You've already joined the 12th man train here on trying to bring Gomez in as a center half. I like that you're seeing the light. Are you willing to come around on this one?
Yeah, I'd like to see them in the same team a little bit more often in the season, like than we have done so far. But I'm not sure about from the start. I'm not sure about starting them both together. It's debatable.
Is it because of injury concerns or what? Is it because we don't have
no, just the formation
striker on the bench?
Yeah, no, just the formation and how it's all going to work. I'm not sure if we're going to play both of them together. If we're going to start both of them together at the same time. I'd like to see it. I'm sure we could work something out, but it's going to take time on the training pitch as well.
Mm-hmm.
With Slot, and once they've actually bedded in. But yeah, I mean, I do want to see. I'm sure we will, like at many different points where they'll both be on the pitch at the same time because we're chasing the result and we're looking for goals. But for me, it's one or the other. Right now, anyway, at this moment in time, where they're just like, I mean, Hugo's done well so far. Out of our newbies, he's been the best player so far. He's shown, quite a few goals and that, like, and he's looked dangerous. But yeah, as far as them both starting, like right now, like in this period of the season, maybe not. But maybe later in the season, if things are going better and Arnie's, had more of a look at it and he's had the players under his wing for a few more months and had them on the training pitch, then we might see them start games together. Who knows?
Okay. I like it when I have company on some of my takes. That's all. So
yeah.
I don't sound like the loose cannon sometimes when it comes and by myself with some of the takes I have with the club. What was when we played with 4-4-2? What was your favorite duo? What was your favorite, and what was your favorite, and what do you think was the best? Because they could be the same, or they could be one of they could be two different.
Do you know what I really liked when it was Gerrard and Torres? When Gerrard played just off Torres, like behind him, and then we had Mascherano and Alonso. That was very good. Well, I'm trying to think. The best partnerships for me were the ones like when I was a kid. So you had like Dalglish and Rust, and you had like Beardsley.
You could go that far back.
Beardsley,
go, yeah, it's your world.
In the Premier League era, the best partnership. Collymore and Fowler was tasty. That was a good partnership and worked well.
Yeah.
In the Rafa era, the best partnership in the Rafa era was. It'd have to be, for me, it'd be Torres with when Gerrard was behind him, because we bought Keane, didn't we, to partner him, but that never really happened. And his other partners up front, it was usually when we played our best in them years, it was usually Gerrard playing behind Torres, wasn't it? Like, with
And he played
obviously
a little bit. He
Alonso
didn't
and
play next. He
Mascherano.
didn't play. I was gonna say he didn't really necessarily play as a duo with him, but he served up plenty for him though on the plate when it came to getting him his deliverance.
Yeah,
Trudon's got
there's
Heskey,
two good ones from
Owen,
Suarez on, yeah.
Suarez,
Owen was brilliant.
Sturridge. Yep.
Yeah, Suarez Sturridge. We had Owen for longer. That Suarez Sturridge thing, it was just that one season. I mean, they were both here before that season where we nearly won the league, but that's where it really clicked.
Mm-hmm. There's a oldie but goldie for you from Dara.
Yeah, before my time, that one. To be honest, Dalglish and Rush was before my time, because by the time I got old enough and started like going the match, Kenny was like an old dude, just about still playing, you know. He was the player manager when I started going. He'd already become the manager. I was still playing a bit, but I can still remember seeing it on telly and that, like, you know, I was old enough to know what was happening in the football, and Dalglish and Rush probably our best ever partnership, I would say. Given, mind you, yeah. I mean, Keegan and Toshak, though, that was brilliant. There's been loads. It's different now, isn't it, with the formations? But yeah, I did used to like partnerships and other clubs' partnerships. I always appreciated a good partnership, whether it was Liverpool or not. There's been so many over the years.
Yeah, I liked. I didn't really the era obviously that I grew up on though was more teams than not had a left striker and a right striker. You know, most teams had like a left center forward or a right center forward or something along those lines. Yeah, there you go. There you go. Yeah. I mean, yeah, top 10 for sure. But yeah, a lot of times, and especially I remember too, because like I used to like. This is back especially during the Italian national teams, like when they had a vibrant team. They often had some very, very incredible striker duos as well. Well, 2000 was insane. Yeah, it was. It definitely certainly was. Yeah, there's a lot of them. It's interesting though, because I mean, you think about our Liverpool history. I mean, I understand that for a lot of people, that era is a bygone era. Like, as you don't see that too often nowadays. But yeah, when was it? What was it? 95, 96, or 96, 97 was Fowler and Collymore, right? Wasn't that the years they played together?
96, 97 was Fowler and Collymore,
yeah. I guess you could call. I guess like yeah, you could say it. I mean, some could say we kinda still play with two forwards sometimes, considering that we sometimes play. Sometimes our wingers are referenced as inside forwards. So you could say maybe Mane and Salah are a right and left inside forward. Is that taking it too far? Is that pushing it too far? Maybe it is. How about a shout for I'd like to give a shout for Dirk Kuyt and Torres, I think, played as a duo, right? Didn't Kuyt play with Torres?
He did, yeah. But he was more like playing on the right. It was rare that he played like sort of in the middle with him on it. He'd be on the right, wouldn't he? Torres would be at the top, Gerrard behind him, and then whoever was on the left.
How about then? Because what was that? 2007, 2008. So like before they were mixing it up, didn't we have Peter Crouch? Who did Peter Crouch play with? Did he play? Was it Bellamy up top with him, or who played with him up top?
The worst part for Crouch was Morientes. Them two together, like that was shit. That club, after we won the Champions League in 2005, we went to that Club World Cup and we got ripped off by the ref, and he played.
That's like bringing up Carroll. You trying to do a red armchair supporter one by bringing up that duo. Oh my goodness. Just some names out there. Dara's saying, I think did you bring this one up already too? I think you brought that one up, didn't you?
Yeah. That was one from very recent history, like when I was a kid. Keegan and Tosha, like.
Well, let me get into this. Before we're coming up onto the 90th minute, close to being a full 90 for us. So I'll make sure I don't keep you too late. Closing thoughts and also closing in on rivalry week. We're closing in on the derbies. A little bit of the build-up this entire week will certainly be that. International break is winding down, fortunately. Injuries, unfortunately, piling up somewhat. Hopefully we can get through this and keep ourselves healthy. The transfer chatter is heating up a little bit. But next up, Manchester United at Anfield. Now, I was in the chat for Football Terrace earlier today, and there was something that I posted in the chat that Terry brought up, and he kept it up on screen for quite a bit of like a big part of his segment, as in it was up there for like 5-10 minutes. And it was because I made a statement because they were talking about this upcoming derby, and they were trying to put about how Manchester United are going to be underdogs and they're going to be this and they're going to be that. And I was saying how it's very interesting because I think a lot of what you're doing is you're trying to make we have our own issues and problems we have to deal with alone. Okay? And just hear me out for a second. And I'm going to let Lee carry the water for this one after I'm done my little football romantic concept of it. But what I said and what he posted was I basically said that, one, I think that what you're seeing a lot of United fans do currently, what you're going to see maybe even the pundits do, but and certainly some of these content creators do, you're going to see a building up of Manchester United as the underdog. And a lot of you might even out there say to yourselves, but United are the underdog. United are crap. They're this, they're that. And my basic point was that in a derby, you rarely ever have true underdogs. In a derby, in my perception, I think derbies can be equalizers. Derbies could be the game where a team that is quote unquote the underdog looks at it as their final, their cup final. You know, they look at it as their opportunity to say, like, how often do we play against Everton where we are considered the favorites? Certainly in the majority of games we play against Everton. Maybe since the start of the Premier League, we've been primarily favorites over Everton. However, if you look at the record we've had with Everton, if you look at the performances in the games, and the final lines, the score lines in those games, quite often you say, well, if you're such a consolidated favorite, how come you didn't beat them 4-5-6-0? Why was it 1-1 or 2-1? How many games have you seen the Everton game be, 1-1 or 2-2? And it's like Lady B is saying, it's bragging rights. It's the sense of being able to just say, for a United team, last year, for instance, or not even last year, the year before this, excuse me, when they beat us in even the FA Cup game when they beat us, it was an opportunity for them to say, we had a crap year, but we beat Liverpool. And what was very definitive of what I said, and I'm going to now be passing the baton in 1 second to Lee. The primary reason why people, because I had some gooner in the chat going at me about like, oh, you must be drunk or this or that. And I'm like, you don't know. You just don't know. But I said this point. Manchester United rolled into Anfield in 2023. It was May 2023. They had been on a run. They're playing well. And they got spanked 7-0. 7-up game was that game. December 2023. Obviously, not the same campaign, but same year. December 2023. Seven Hag brought his team back to Anfield. We got off 30 some odd, 30, 35, 30, 40 shots or whatever it was in that game and left with a 0-0 draw. There were people thinking that we were going to get into double digits in that game because unlike the game before where we beat them 7-0, this time they were even in worse shape. Mentally, everything was crap with United. And Anfield, we could just not score that day. So I'm just trying to get across that sometimes I'm not going to allow for United to get off and say, we're playing with house money here, or it doesn't matter. We're supposed to lose to Liverpool. Who cares what the result is? No. They have more incentive than ever to beat us at Anfield. And I'm hoping that is a wake-up call. Because I think sometimes when teams allow for yourself to think that, this is a team we can look past, you're doing yourself a disservice in a derby. It's bad enough when you do that in a regular game, much less in a derby. What are your thoughts? Am I too crazy, Lee, in saying what I'm saying? And what are your feelings about the same?
No, it's never an easy game. It is like, it is a derby, different sorts of derbies, the Northwest derby. Like, it's just always an awkward game. And it was the same for United, when they were untouchable and we were struggling, we could still beat them. It was hard to beat them at Old Trafford. Like, we could get draws there. Like, we could beat them at Anfield. Like, even when we were playing really shit and we had a bad team, it could happen. Mm-hmm. And we seen that last year, really, didn't we? With Ruben came here and they weren't doing well, but he still got a 2-2 draw. And then the year before, the year before, we were expecting that we'd roll them over, and it was 0-0, wasn't it, with Ten Hag? So it won't be easy, like, and also it's right off the back of the international break. Well, I mean, do we
Thank
ever
you.
play well off the back? I mean, it's the same for United, it's the same for all teams, like, but it's off the back of the international break. We're not just going to get like a great cohesive performance out of nowhere, I don't think. But as long as we battle and scrap and get the points, don't give a shit. Don't give a shit how we win. Not so much that it's United. Well, actually, because it is United, but also the boost it'll give us. It could be a springboard, for the upcoming fixtures. If we can get a victory, like coming back to a victory, we can go on from there.
How about go as far as to say, hey, it could be a springboard for a Isak getting a hat trick, or like Mac Allister getting a worldly, type goal, or it could be maybe Salah, gets a brace or something like that, or has 2 assists or something, in that game. It's been raining pretty tough out here, guys. Yeah, it has been. But yeah, it's been a weird one. It's been a weird one when it comes to this derby. And I mean, like, there's been, why I keep emphasizing it is that, like, just like you mentioned, we had a 2-2 draw at Anfield in January, and that kind of was that kind of marked the start of a very difficult January for us. A very difficult question. A very difficult thing. So is there a question here? Nope. Hopefully we can get through before it rains on us again. I'll say it like this. I have a little bit of a moment of zen for you, because we're just talking about our games. This reference is for when we went to Old Toilet, but all the same. Please let me know your comments. Who's your pick to start for United? Or, do you think it's Gomez's time to step up? Or if he even gets the opportunity to step up? But yes, I am going to give you a red zen. Yes, definitely going to give you a little bit of red zen right here. Please make sure you subscribe, hit the notification bell, the like, all that, everything, and then some. We're trying to get to 1,000 subscribers. We're certainly getting closer by the day. So here is your moment of red zen. Tell me how you like it. This is a movie that apparently is coming out soon. Hopefully we can have part 2. Hopefully we can have part 2 happen. That'd be great. Hopefully, I know that Lee loves movies, so I thought he might enjoy that one.
I've never actually seen that. Like, I've seen the famous clip with it in the cafe, but I've never seen that film.
Yeah. Well, hopefully we can get we can get a return fixture of when Harry met Salah, and get a nice little 5-0 victory. That was such a. Hopefully you'll see it Sunday. Hopefully this Sunday this feature will be at a theater for all of us to see. Hopefully. All right, Lee, do you want to say anything to the people before you bounce out here?
Just cheers to everybody. Cheers for your contributions. See you again.
Yeah, for sure. I have do tune in tomorrow. I did a bunch of researching and getting this big episode that I wanted to do tomorrow. It's going to be a good one. It's a breakdown of our international break. It's a breakdown of what Manchester United have going on for themselves. It's a breakdown of what Liverpool has to look forward to, maybe even returning from the international break, and what we can put together for our team and the likes. Deep dives into a lot of statistics, by the way. So I know it's a little wonky for some of you, but deep dives into some statistics mixed with a little bit of eye tests. Trust, I got you. We will be back tomorrow. Big up. Hopefully Lee will be able to join us tomorrow. Definitely, Lee, just stick around for like 2 minutes. I won't keep you like I did last time. But hold on for 2 more minutes after we end the show. And we will see you guys all tomorrow. Thank you for joining us today. And as always, up the Reds, and peace and love to each and every one of you. Guys, take care.